What's going on, everybody? KSA Chris, Real Estate Blitz, and real quick, we're going to talk about your battle rhythm. You know, in the Marine Corps, one of the things that we always talked about was a battle rhythm. What is it that you're doing day to day, week to week, month to month that actually is going to accomplish specific tasks or objectives that you want in the battlefield? Now, in the real estate world, they call it a daily routine. What is your daily routine? But I guess I just view things differently as a retired Marine that helps run a team of Marines, mostly Marines, and we call it a battle rhythm. What is your battle rhythm? What are you doing? Because we are kind of waging war in a lot of regards. We're out here trying to just go out and dominate and take over space in order to, for us, make a profit, but actually win something, right? We're trying to win money. We're trying to win clients. We're trying to win reputation. We're trying to just win. Right? So with that said, what is a battle rhythm? And if you haven't implemented this is an absolute must in your business. That's actually where I start when I talk to a lot of people when they come in here and say, Chris, I'm not producing the way that I want to. I'm not making the money that I want to. The first thing we talk about is their battle rhythm. So your daily routine is everything. When do you wake up? What's the first thing you do when you wake up? After you do that, what's the next thing? After you do that, what's the next thing? Things that should be in your battle rhythm every day, you absolutely should be prospecting. Prospecting should be a majority of your day if you have no business. If you have zero business, you should be prospecting your tail off. Now, prospecting could look like a lot of different things. It could be cold calling. It could be warm calling. It could be going out and knocking doors. It could be dropping flyers. It could be going to specific events. But this is what I always tell everybody on our team. Look, 95% of your energy should be doing something that's producing an income. Even if that's, jumping on social media, doing Facebook blasts, whatever it might be, that's what you need to be doing. So every day you need to set aside time for prospecting. Next, every day you need to set aside time for knowledge, right? So you should always be learning. If you're not educating yourself on a daily basis, first thing I do when I wake up, I wake up, I get out of bed, I put in my headphones, I get them in my pocket. I pull out my phone, I go to KSA University, or actually pretty soon, I'm getting ready to stamp another one, which is Blitz University. I put it in my head, and I start going through educational videos, the ones that I go through. With Blitz University, it's something that we built with Grant Cardone. So it's listening to Grant Cardone talk about different variations of sales or real estate. That's the first thing I do when I get out of bed. Right after I get done with that, the next thing I do, I put in a podcast. The next thing I do after that, once I sit at my office, I sit down, I go through probably 3 books a month. I sit down, I read for at least a half hour, and I end my day with reading for a half hour. So I try to get in at least an hour's worth of reading. Next, I sit down, I do my to-do list. What is my to-do list? What do I got to get done today to actually kill it? I also go through, because I keep on my list, I keep what I'm going to do today, what I'm going to do this week, what I got to do this month, and also what have I already done. Now I'll go back through the stuff that I've already done. All of these things are going to be focused on my goals. Okay? I sit down at the beginning of every week. Now, Grant Cardone and a few other people teach something different. They say, do your goals every day. Absolutely. I would highly recommend that you sit down and build in, because I give myself a half hour of administrative time every morning before I start my day. Somewhere in there, you absolutely probably should write down, what are your goals? What are your goals this week? What are your goals today in order to accomplish this week's goals? And what are your goals this month? And what are your goals this year? You should be doing that every day. Me personally, I do it every Monday as before I start my week. And then every day I write down one specific target goal. Before I do anything, I write it at the top of my page. And I say, this is what I'm focused on this week. This is what I need to accomplish. And otherwise, I don't go home. I'm just going to work. So then I go through my to-do list. I hammer that out. I refine my to-do list. And I prepare my day. I also do my to-do list at the end of the day. Now, this is important because when I come in the morning, I'm trying to streamline my time. I want to look through it. I want to confirm it. Did I come up with anything else? Usually what I'll do is as I'm, starting off my morning or something like that, I'll sit down and actually start looking through what I need to do and what I think I need to do, and then I incorporate that into the to-do list. But sometimes the prior day, my day prior, right? And that's called the plan of the day in the Marine Corps. What is your plan of the day? You should be doing your next day's plans the day prior. So today's Tuesday, I should have done it Monday. So when I come in Monday, I'm looking down, I'm confirming or I'm adjusting. Once I get done with my to-do list, then I'm actually going to highlight 3. I pick 3. And I say, these are the 3 things that I'm going to get done today. I'm not going to do anything else until I get these 3 things done. I'm ensure that I always pick the 3 hardest things that are on my list. A lot of people, they're going to try to pick the easiest stuff and like, well, I can knock out these calls real quick and I can do this and the other and then I'll get to these 3. That's procrastination. When you procrastinate, it kills your energy. Knocking out the first 3 hardest things. A, you're going to be fresh. B, that creates momentum throughout your day. When you hammer it out and it's freaking done, and they're the most hardest things, and usually the hardest things are the ones that are going to give you the most return. It's going to set you up for the rest of the day to where, yeah, you'll get to the easy things, but the fact is, knock out the 3 hardest things first. Once I knock out those 3 things, I roll to the next 3 things. Usually what I'll do, one of the first 3 things I'm going to do is prospecting before I do anything else, because I'm still fresh, I'm up early, I'm going to start getting on the phones, I'm going to start following up, I'm going to be going through my inbound leads, whatever it is, I'm going to be doing my prospecting. Then I'm rolling to the next biggest project. I usually push my day, personally, I push my day until lunch or chow, right? And I'm going to get something to eat. And I'll usually work out right before I get something to eat. But then my afternoons, I always block out for clients. Now, if I don't have any clients, and I try to schedule something 5 days a week at a minimum, ideally 6. But if I don't have any clients, guess what I'm doing in the afternoon? I'm prospecting again. I'm doing the same routine that I did in the morning. I start, as soon as I get back, I go into prospecting. Right after that, I knock down specific tasks. Again, 95% of my energy focused on income producing tasks. Income producing tasks. The other 5%, depending on how you've structured your time, the other 5% is basically updating and administrative. Now, if you're smart and if you've listened to other past things I've talked about on when should you hire somebody to help you, that's when, if you're doing more administration than actual production or doing 95% of your energy doing something that's going to create an income, then you need to hire somebody. You need to hire somebody. Go back and listen to my last video, when to hire help, and that'll point you in the right direction. But that's more or less how I structure my day. I button up the day with, again, going through my to-do list. And then I'm gonna, go home. I'm gonna relax. I dedicate my time to my family. I don't believe in balance, and I'll probably talk about that at different times. Some people are like, "Oh, well, you need balance, and you need to, really balance, and life and this." And I don't believe in that. I'm not a fan of that. I'm not wealthy enough to have that belief in balance. I'm not saying you need to have kidney failure. I'm not saying that you need to completely kill yourself, but to believe that there is some type of balance when the reality is you're trying to create something that doesn't exist. You're trying to become better. You're trying to become dominant in the market. You cannot dominate without being obsessed about the concept and idea of dominating and learning in your craft in order to absolutely just dominate. You can't have that when you're trying to find balance. There will be a time to find balance. And I'm looking, I've already set it aside, when I'm making $400,000 to $500,000 per month, I'll start looking at finding balance. Until then, I'm not looking for balance. It's just me. So I go home, I spend a little bit of time with the family. For me, I personally cook for the family. I spend some time with the kids. I spend time with my wife. I put the kids down. And once they go down, then I'm at it again. At a minimum, if I'm just exhausted, I'm going to sit down and do more education. I'm going to do some more reading on something that I need to know. So, I want to start doing YouTube videos. Great. Start learning about YouTube. There's plenty of books. You want to start learning about social media. Go out and read books on social media. You're paying too much money for pay-per-click advertising. Go out and teach yourself pay-per-click advertising. Now, what you're starting to hear out of my mouth is I'm focused on a lot of things that don't have anything to do with real estate. Let me explain. In the mornings, I'm either listening to mindset, right, information to get my mind right so I can get positive throughout the day. That's like Zig Ziglar, stuff like that. Or I'm listening to real estate based stuff. So like Toby Salgado, one of those guys that are just focused on real estate. But after that, when I start reading or something else, I'm looking, what can I read or be involved in or listen to that's going to educate me on stuff that I don't know, that I need to know or want to know. You have to understand, I've said it before and I'll say it again. Real estate is the homes that we sell are commodities. Everybody's in sales. Doesn't matter if you're an Apple. And you need to change this mindset. So many real estate agents have a broken mindset on this. Look, billion-dollar industries are no different. They just don't sell homes. That's why whenever somebody says, well, they won't come in and sell our houses and real estate agents, we're good. That's not true. It's just an industry. Houses are a commodity. When somebody figures out how to sell a house without you, they're going to. And houses will sell without you. It's just the way it works, right? Amazon is a commodity. They're selling products, and they've set up a system to where literally they're almost in every freaking household now. Okay, so you have to understand that you being good at hugging people and smiling a lot, and I'm just, I just give a good job. That is not building a business. Okay, that's building a small boutique and just being friendly. And if that's what you want to do, that's fantastic. If that's what you want to do, I'm surprised you're watching the Real Estate Blitz. If you're trying to build a business, you need to start learning some of these other things, even if you don't implement them. So example, I'm not implementing pay-per-click. I hire somebody to do pay-per-click and SEO, but I want to know about it. I want to be aware of it, and I want to know the direction that we can. So most of the time what I found is the people that you end up hiring, they don't know anything about real estate. So you need to assist them. Now we're talking about Google keywords and things like that. Well, it's good to learn about that and how, what are the keywords? How do you create this? How do you create that? YouTube, I just started getting deep into YouTube. So I'm starting to read a lot of books on YouTube because I want to get my message out. You want to start learning about marketing. Learn about marketing. You want to talk about lead conversion. Learn about lead conversion. And this is why, like on Blitz University, which is going out, it's already out. People are eating it up. With Blitz University, a majority of Blitz University is talking about mindset. It's talking about sales. Sales. We're in sales, folks. It's talking about follow-up. It's talking about calling. It's talking about finances. It's talking about all this stuff, and that's something that we built with Grant Cardone. It's fantastic. But it talks more about that than actual home stuff, because you gotta understand, it almost doesn't matter what the commodity is. It doesn't matter if it's oranges. A majority of the principles are the same. If you're selling oranges, if you're selling a house, if you're selling a car, if you're selling an iPhone, if you're selling canned drink products, and this is a huge one. You talk about energy drinks, unbelievable. If you're selling wallets, if you're selling pens, if you're selling paper, if you're selling business cards, I've got those too. I mean, I'm surrounded by stuff. If you're selling these boards, this is sales. If you're selling books, got books here. If you're selling freaking glasses, somebody's selling this stuff, right? And they're all commodities, and you have to understand that. So learn about sales, refine yourself. When you're spending that energy and that time, you should be spending that energy and time learning something that's going to help you better at sales and becoming a salesman, saleswoman, or something that's going to give you returns without your specific energy. So if you're talking about online content, things like that. Okay, with that said, that's all I got. If you got any questions, hit me up. As always, put it in the post down below. I will always reply and answer to you. If you want me to talk about something specific that I know about, ask me. If it's something I don't know about, I'll bring somebody in. Ask me anyways. I'll bring somebody in, or I'm going to start doing interviews here where I can actually go out and find people for these questions. Okay? Check out my YouTube channel, Real Estate Blitz. Just type it in Google anywhere, the Real Estate Blitz. And do me a favor, subscribe, okay? Subscribe to the channel. I want to get my message out. Check me out on YouTube. With that said, I got a ton of time. I really appreciate doing these things for you. I love the input that I've been getting. Tons of people calling me. I sat down, I had lunch with this wonderful lady who's been watching this channel and learned a lot from it. Had lunch with her. It was fantastic. And it really gives me a lot of joy, and it makes me want to put out better content because of the reactions. This was originally something that I created for our team to educate our agents, and people started just sort of finding it. So I really think it's cool. I really appreciate what you guys are doing, and I look forward to putting out more. So again, thank you very much. Real Estate Blitz, KSA Chris here, and I'll see you on the next one.